What is my hair doing? Hello, I don't know what my hair's doing. I finished the capelet. I did not expect to have this done for this week, so this is exciting. Last week this fabric was still on the loom, this lighter fabric. This came off the loom I think Thursday, Friday. It was definitely one of those days. Wet finished, and then I traced out the pattern onto the fabric to make sure that I had enough, and I did. I had literally about that much length left over. So I was really pleased about that because I was a bit worried I'd have to weave another panel, which wouldn't have been the end of the world, but I'd rather just get on with it. And I got on with it, and now it's finished. So I'm going to put in a bit of a long shot so that you can see where the points sit. It's not hugely long because it is a capelet. The back in particular is a little shorter because it is a capelet. It's a little bit stiffer than it should be, but that's because I'm using two quite firm fabrics. So I've got obviously the hand woven on the outside, and then on the inside I've got this, which I just found in the stash. It's a wool and cotton blend. I don't know where it came from. I don't know why I own it, but I've chopped it up now and made a lining for my cape. So before I cut anything out, I zigzagged around the inside of the cutting line. So I traced all the pieces out onto the weaving, all the pattern pieces, with a texter. Don't tell anyone, you're not supposed to use texter, but I do quite a lot. Nobody's come for me yet. And then before I cut anything, I zigzagged all the way, I've got a photo to show you what I mean, zigzagged all the way around on the inside of that cutting line so that when I cut the pieces out, they wouldn't fray and fall apart. And that worked, and I did need to do that because the bits that I cut off that weren't secured with the zigzag frayed and fell apart almost immediately. I had a lot of fraying even with the zigzagging. I had bits falling apart, bits of wool drifting around. So the problem that I had was the weaving itself, for predominantly this piece, because this is the one where the tension was all over the place, and you can maybe see, I don't think you can, you can a little bit, you can see just there, this is quite lumpy and bumpy. So in the wet finish, most of the big gaps sort of resolved themselves, but it is a little bit wavy, and it shouldn't be. But I just ran with that because I didn't want to weave another panel. And for the most part, it was okay. I did find that this front piece here was too big. When I came to join the outer to the lining, I had about an inch, or maybe just under an inch. I'm not very good at inches, but there was a bit sticking out. So that was weird. And then on the back, I'm just going to take this off for a second so I can show you what I'm talking about. And now I'm cold. It's so cold out here. So one of the back pieces I also had a problem with, in that you might not be able to tell because it's all sewn together quite well enough. The back pieces have a little scoop for the neckline, and I was about to zigzag around the shape so that I could cut it out and realised I didn't have a nice little scoop. I had a J, and I don't know how that happened. The only thing I can think of is that I wasn't laying the fabric out properly or being careful enough with how I was laying the fabric out. So it all came together, but there were a few little bits that needed trimming and tidying. Now, the other thing that I changed, I didn't change anything on the pattern particularly, but I did change the closure. So I've got a loop and button here. There's my button, and there's a loop holding that button. Do you see? So the pattern, which is by Stitch Maiden, I think it's called the Snowdrop capelet. I can't remember off the top of my head. I should have looked that up before I came out to record, really. I'll put it in the description, though. Has two options for your closure, for your front bit. You can have nothing, or you can have a tie made out of one or other of your fabrics, either your outer or your lining. I didn't think a tie was really right for this because this is quite a heavy capelet. I think it's more, the pattern's more designed for sort of cosplay, Red Riding Hood, that sort of thing. So you'd be using lighter weight fabrics. I'm going to try and put this on in an elegant way. It's not going to go well. There we go. And I didn't think that really fit for a heavier weight capelet. So I just went with a loop and button, and that's working really well. And I got to use one of my nice wooden buttons. So I'm really pleased with this. It's come out well, and it has behaved itself. Everything's hung together reasonably well, and I'm probably going to wear this a lot because it's, as I mentioned, a little bit chilly. Now, other things, moving on. I haven't got any progress on the little loom. I really focused on this on Monday and Tuesday. I was going to get it all done on Monday. I was quite smug about that. I thought Monday afternoon, I'm going to get this sewn together today. And then I realised there's quite a lot of hand stitching getting the hood lining attached to the cape lining once you've turned it all the right. I just thought, I'm not doing that. It's 9 o'clock at night and I'm sleepy. So I did it on Tuesday. So the pattern itself, I do recommend it. It comes together really quickly. You get 3 options for the length of your capelet and you get 3 hood options. And I went with the basic 2-piece hood because of working with woven fabric. There's also a gathered hood, which looks more like a bonnet, which wouldn't have worked. This is too bulky. And there's also one with a panel down the middle, 2 panels at the side and 1 down the middle. And again, I thought I'm using fabric that might not be behaving itself. I'll just keep it simple. I will put a link in the description. But I'm really pleased with it. It's come out well. I'm losing my light though, so let's move on. So what I have in here, I don't have any progress on the loom, the little loom, and I don't have anything on the big loom at the moment. So the little loom looks like it did last week. The big loom is empty. This has been wet finished though, and pressed. Thank you very much. It hasn't come out as fluffy as I was hoping it would, but there is a nice texture to it. I've given it a loose fringe because I wasn't sure how this fluffy yarn and the wool would twist. So it's just a loose fringe on this one. It's much longer than I was expecting it to be, but that has come out quite well. It has been pressed, I promise. There we go. So I'm pleased with the colour. It's not quite as fluffy as I was hoping it would be, but it might fluff up with wear. I don't know. I might not know what I'm talking about. That happens sometimes. Now, finally for this week, I didn't take a photograph of this last week to show you a compare. So I'll take a screen grab from the video, which is going to be a little bit grainy. I do apologise. But I have some significant progress on the cross stitch. So here's what it looked like last week, and it's a little bit grainy, as I said. I do apologise. And here's how it's looking now. So I've filled in all of the black up here. I don't know that it is black, actually. I think it's dark brown, either or. So I filled in all of the black at the top so you can really see the shape of the petals now. I've just got a little bit more of that to do over here, and then it's just these background shapes and the petals themselves, because I still haven't worked on those. That's still empty. So it's coming along quite well. I sat down to do half an hour on it last night and ended up doing 2.5 hours because I was watching the bill and having a nice time. I had the fire going, I was watching the bill, I was having a nice time. I did some cross stitch. It was lovely. I appreciated that on a winter's evening. So that's how that's looking. I will remember to take a photograph of it for next week so that I can show you a proper compare. Will it be finished for next week? Theoretically, it could be. I mean, that is an achievable amount of cross stitch to do over the course of a week. I'm not going to promise anything because I don't know that I will have time or that I will sit down and do it. So we'll find out. But that is all I have for you this week. Thank you so much for watching. You take care of yourself. Enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy the start of next week. Treat yourself. And I will see you next time. Bye for now.